Did you know that there are hundreds of Central Florida children facing adversity and seeking a positive role model in their lives? A local nonprofit has made it their mission to make a difference in these children's lives, and they need your help. All the details on how you can change a child's life is coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Jay Franks. Jay is the Regional Director for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Tampa Bay here out of Polk County. How you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
For the folks that might not know exactly what Big Brothers Big Sisters is, what exactly is that?
We are the nation's oldest and largest youth mentoring organization, and everything we do is built on a foundation of one-to-one mentoring. So that means one big, one little, spending time together, learning together, and having a great time.
Some folks in the county may be familiar with, say, the Boys and Girls Clubs. I think we have a couple chapters of them here within the county. How is that different than what Big Brothers Big Sisters does?
Well, I say the big difference is we don't have a basketball court. Big Brothers Big Sisters, we partner with the Boys and Girls Club, but our volunteers spend their time helping kids in one of two ways, either by going to a school or an after-school location like the Boys and Girls Club, or by picking up their little brother or little sister and then taking them out to do something in the community. Go to the park, run errands together. They may go to Auburndale Speedway where we get free tickets or something like that. But that's the main difference, is the one-on-one connection and the flexibility to either help a child in that site-based location or to spend time with them in the community.
Say you get a volunteer that would like to become part of the program. Could you walk us through the process, please?
Yes, it's very easy. All of our volunteers have to complete 3 steps. One is to attend one of our big orientation and trainings, and we hold one just about every week somewhere across the county. 2 is to sit for a one-on-one interview, and that takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you have to complete an application. Most people do their application after attending the orientation, and then from there they get scheduled for their one-on-one interview. And once we complete that, get all the references back, we take care of the cost for a level 2 background check and screening, so it doesn't cost anything to be a volunteer with us to sign up. And then once everything is cleared, then we go on to the matching part where they're set up with a little brother or sister.
Logistically speaking, yes, you are out of Polk County. Do you work the whole 2,054 square miles?
We're very proud to say that yes, we do. Because our volunteers are primarily picking up their little from their home and then going out and doing something, we aren't limited to what part of the county we serve. So we're in Bradley Junction and Frostproof and Babson Park and Haines City, and anywhere where we have a volunteer and a child who needs to be mentored, then we're going to look to make a match within about 15 or so minutes of where the volunteer lives.
One thing that you said, and it's really key to this whole thing, sometimes money doesn't have to be spent. Yeah, yes, it'd be nice if you could go out and do something, but it's just that interaction between the adult and the child, the big and the little. Talk to me about the importance of being that role model and setting the example for the little.
You're spot on with that. I think all of us can think back on our friends or our own experience growing up and remember maybe that one person that reached out to us, a coach, maybe it was an aunt or an uncle, or just that one extra person, a teacher that made a difference. And for kids, it's just really important to have adults recognize them for doing the right thing. You probably heard the saying, if you give a kid attention for doing the wrong thing, they'll do the wrong thing. If you give them attention for doing the right thing, they'll do the right thing. That's exactly what Big Brothers Big Sisters does. It helps young people build those important relationships where they can see adults exhibiting good behavior, adults are listening to them and giving them attention and helping them with challenges. So, and none of that costs any money. To be a friend to a child, to be an example, and to give them an opportunity to go places they wouldn't normally go, or to see how adults just go through the regular things in life. Getting your oil changed, doing your grocery shopping, all that everyday stuff we take for granted.
My grandson loves Saturday and Sunday afternoons just riding around in the Jeep. It's something that simple, Just, something, a break from the norm.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about your program coming up, actually going on through November. The 100 for 100. Talk to me a little bit about that.
100 Men in 100 Days is a special focus on recruiting more men to be mentors. It's a challenge that we have that are the boys that we have waiting to be little brothers tend to wait a little bit longer because we don't have as many men stepping up to be volunteers, which isn't unusual. If you talk to any organization that needs volunteers, they'll always tell you that we get more women than men, but the men tend to stick around a little bit longer. So we really focus on being in the places where men tend to hang out, like Auburndale Speedway and martial arts or karate dojos and gyms, those sorts of places where we can just really speak more to a male audience and let them know that you have the opportunity to make a difference in a child's life. And with our help at Big Brothers Big Sisters, we can make it very easy and make it impactful.
Now, we've gone through the process, had the background check, filled out the application, done everything. The next process, how do you go about choosing the child for them?
Well, we receive referrals from teachers as well as parents and guardians for kids, and they're facing a lot of different challenges. Some of them may have lost a parent, some of them may have a parent who's gone for long periods of time. We have a special program for military families. And the kids start off between the ages of 5 and 13. In that interview process that we do with our volunteers, we ask what age child would you like to work with, what kind of activities you want to do. We get an understanding of what challenges they faced in life, and we use all that to help make a real match. And not just first come, first serve, but if you are interested in working with a kid who's maybe loves to be in the outdoors, then we're going to look and we're going to be going through that process with the kids as well to say, what sorts of things do you want to do with your big brother? And then once we identify that ideal big and little, our staff member goes with you the first time that you meet your little brother. Then they're also in touch with you on a regular basis. So you always have a professional from Big Brothers Big Sisters there to help you out with letting you know about activities, letting you know how to handle any questions that come up or any challenges you may be facing.
So now we have the child, and what are we talking time commitment per week?
The time commitment is very minimal, actually. In our site-based program, it's 1 hour a week for 1 school year. And as you can imagine, now is a good time to get going because the school year is really just getting underway. And that's usually during daytime hours, or if you're at an after-school site, then up to about 6 o'clock. And what day and what hour is flexible depending on the location and your availability. The community-based program is 8 hours a month for 15 months. And that program is much more flexible because it's evenings, weekends, holidays. As the volunteer, you decide when, where, and what you do.
Now let's talk a little bit about the things that you can do. There are a lot of things that, like you said, changing oil, going picking up your dry cleaning, running to the store. That makes a difference. It shows structure. It shows, that there are things that you have to do as a grown male. Let's talk a little bit about, okay, say you have a child. Do you guys have programs that, kind of help you with, say, if you want to introduce them to sporting events, say Bucks, things like the Orlando Magic, or even some of our, we've got the developmental league for the Magic coming in. So talk to me a little bit about how you guys can help out with that too.
Sports Buddies is a program that we have that's within our community-based program. And that lets us identify those matches that want to go out and do sporting activities. So with that, when we have great partnerships with the Rays over in Tampa Bay, the Lakeland Magic, we're going to be working with them. The Flying Tigers right here in Lakeland, they give us free tickets. So with Sports Buddies, we ask you to do a sporting activity on one of your outings, and that can be anything: hiking, biking, fishing, basketball, whatever you want to spend your time doing. But then we encourage you to go to a sporting event. We get free tickets for games at the Florida Moccasins and all those other sporting teams that we just mentioned. So that way it makes it very easy to figure out how you're going to fill up that time. We also, our matches are also free to engage in what activities they choose to. So we've had a few bigs who've become kind of the coach for their little brother or little sister's basketball team, or they're the person that gets them to those practices on a regular basis if they have a team that they like to participate in.
I would imagine that over the years there's got to be success stories, and to me, the ultimate success story is a child that's been in the program and comes back to give back. Do you have anything like that?
Well, actually, I'm that kind of success story. And I was a little brother many years ago, and I learned two very important things from having a big, that you don't have to be family to show somebody that you care, but also that this is how communities really happen. I mean, you can live in a place and you can see people, and so often these days we come and we go and we don't really know who our neighbors are. But communities are when people connect and people care about each other, and they go out of their way to spend their time making our neighborhoods the kind of places we want to live in. And I get to spread that message every day. So we celebrated 4 of our littles graduating high school last year, but we've been doing this in Polk County since 1970. And that goes all the way back to Maxine Weiss, our first big sister, who was a teacher and wanted to do something a little bit more. So every year we celebrate graduations, and we look forward to hearing how those littles go on to college and build careers, and some of them even come back to work with the agency like I did.
You had mentioned earlier there's a lot of littles still waiting. Really roughly numbers, what are we talking about?
Just in Polk County, we have about 70 to 100 littles that are waiting at any time. And that wait list is about that size for a couple of reasons. One, we need one volunteer for every child we want to help. Again, it's a unique challenge for us, but it's also not just about any volunteer that comes along. It's about the right volunteer and where they live. If we've got a little down in Bradley Junction, we can't really match them with somebody in Haines City. It's going to be a long drive. So we have about 70 to 100, and we need volunteers throughout the area to match them up with.
We have just a little bit of time left. You kind of spoke from the heart, saying you were a little once. If you could inspire someone at home to sign up with the program, how would you go about doing as such?
The number one thing I would say is that you don't have to have a plan. You don't have to think about how you're going to change a child's life. You don't have to worry about any of the big things that happen years later or high school graduations. If you care about kids, our program is a great way to give back to one child. Everybody can have a good time helping one child. We make it easy. Our program is low cost, no cost, and it's just a few hours a week. So it's the one thing that we all can do to make sure that our community is the kind of place that we want to live in, and that kids in our community know that adults that they see actually care about them.
Jay, I want to thank you for coming in today and spending time and telling a story, but most of all, I want to thank you for the things that you're doing for the children in this community.
Thank you.
100 Men in 100 Days is Big Brother Big Sister's special challenge. For every child they want to help, they need one adult to join Big Brother's Big Sister family. Right now, they serve more girls than boys because they don't have enough men stepping up. Man or woman, they want you to join their team and make a difference. Volunteer, recommend a friend or family member, or invite them to your workplace, church, or social club to share the good news about how every day people are making a real difference for their littlest neighbors. Now, if you need more information, you can give them a call at 863-514-7556 or look them up on the web at www.bbbstampabay.org.